Hello, yogis and yoginis. Welcome back to Chair Yoga with the Traveling Yogini. We're starting a new series for the month of October in 2020, and we're going to be sprinkling in some moon-themed poses and moon-themed meditations. And that's because the month of October, on October 1st, we started with a full harvest moon, and at the end of the month, on October 31st, we'll be ending with a full blue moon. So I thought it would be fun just to take a moon theme through the month of October, and I hope that you'll find it enjoyable. We're going to get all of the same pose work done as we normally would, just with a little extras related to the moon. So let's go ahead and get started. Sitting tall on the chair, 2 feet flat on the ground, hips distance apart, which is about 2 fists wide, wedge between the knees, and let's make sure we're sitting forward on the chair. So that will encourage us to use our very best posture when we sit forward this way. Let's begin by unwinding through the shoulders, lifting them up as high as is comfortable and rolling them back and down. And automatically we feel the chest opening up for us. We feel our posture lifting. And it's also a good signal to the body that it's time to focus on this practice. It's time to let all other thoughts fade away and bring ourselves to this present moment right here, right now. Now when we're ready, let's take one more shoulder roll back and down, sitting up nice and tall, feeling each foot firmly planted into the ground beneath us. Think about connecting to the earth through those strong feet. And let's engage the abdominals, sitting up nice and tall through our frame, lifting the crown of our head toward the sky. And I thought we'd start out today with a special mudra or hand gesture for yoga. Let's touch the tip of our index finger to the tip of our thumb, and the other 3 fingers just relax, splayed out in front of us. You can either keep your hands lifted or rest them on your lap. This is called Jnana Mudra, and it symbolizes when we connect those fingers, the first finger represents us, and the thumb represents something bigger than us. So we often think about the individual yogi connecting to all of the other yogis that came before us, or us connecting to everyone else in the world around us. Today I thought we'd think about all of us living underneath the moon and trying to connect with each one of those beings. So as we hold our hands in this symbolic gesture, let's begin to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Noticing the sound of our healthy breathing and allowing all other thoughts to fade away. And we're reminded, as we hear the sound of our healthy breathing, to breathe throughout each pose, especially when a pose is challenging for us. Let's keep breathing rather than holding the breath. With each inhale, we're breathing peace and calm into the body and the mind. And with each exhale, we're letting go of judgment, competition, even our own expectations, allowing ourselves to see what these healthy bodies can do when given the opportunity. throughout our practice today, we make a promise to ourselves to listen to the body at all times, easing up whenever needed, and giving ourselves more of a challenge when wanted. Let's take a few more cleansing and centering breaths. And when we're ready, let's relax those hands down on our lap, sitting up nice and tall. Let's inhale tall through the crown of our head, and on the exhale, a gentle turn of the head, looking over one shoulder. Inhaling back to the center, exhaling as we turn in the opposite direction, inhaling back to the center. Now let's gently tilt the head to one side, inhaling and lifting the crown, exhaling with a tilt to the other side, inhaling back upright. Now let's lower the chin on the diagonal toward the inside of one elbow. And on the inhale, we lift up. On the exhale, a chin drop over to the other side. Inhaling as we lift, exhaling, rolling the shoulders back and down. Now let's inhale the left arm up, reaching up as high as you can, and then exhale down along the body. Other side, let's inhale, lifting that right arm, and exhale, coming down. Starting to lubricate the shoulders here with these gentle movements. Now let's try another arm option here. Let's lift the left arm to shoulder height, turn the palm up toward the sky, and continue all the way up. Now lower the arm to shoulder height, turn the palm down, all the way down. So we inhale, flip the palm, continue on up. Exhaling down, flip the palm, exhale all the way down. Inhaling and exhaling. It's that little turn of the palm that's going to keep our shoulders safe through these snow angel raises. And any time during our practice when we take those arms overhead, let's try to remember to flip the palm at shoulder height. Inhaling on the way up, exhaling on the way down. One more time on either side. Now let's make another little change here. Exhaling down, let's inhale the left arm straight up in front of us as high as is comfortable, and then exhale all the way down. Other side, inhaling as we lift, exhaling, bring it down. One more time on each side, a lateral raise. Now let's reach back with both arms like you're holding on to a big beach ball behind you for chest expansion. And on the exhale, rounding the spine with a nice tree hug. Inhaling and opening the chest, exhaling and rounding. Now, when we open the chest, we should feel a little arch in the back here, and you should feel your chest expanding. That's why we call it chest expansion. It's a wonderful way to move the spine forward and back. inviting some good lubricating fluids into the nooks and crannies of the spine today. A couple more in each direction. Now let's bring both arms down by our sides, palms facing each other. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals, and on the exhale, a little reach to one side. And on the inhale, use your trunk, lift, 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 lift back to the center, and on the exhale, reach to the other side. I like to call these tea kettle reaches. So let's reach on over. Again, encouraging good lubricating fluids of the body to get into all the nooks and crannies of the spine. One more tea kettle reach on each side. Inhaling as we're lifting, exhaling as we're reaching. Now let's lift all the way back upright and roll the shoulders back, sitting up tall. Let's inhale the left arm to shoulder height, watching the tips of our fingers as we gently twist. Inhaling back to the center and exhaling down. Let's inhale the right arm up, gently, gently twisting to the side, inhaling back to the center and exhaling down. One more lateral raise with a gentle twist. Now let's inhale as we extend one long leg in front of us, straightening the leg as much as is comfortable, then exhale down. Inhaling, straightening the other leg out, then exhale down. And on these first few leg extensions, we might hear some sounds coming from the knees. The sounds are not a problem, but it is a concern if we're noticing any discomfort along with those sounds. Usually, that sound will subside after the first few extensions here as we lubricate the joint. If it's not subsiding for you, the sound, that's okay. Just be aware if we feel any discomfort there, we certainly would want to ease back. Now, if you'd like, you can lift up your opposite arm at the same time as we extend the leg and then lower down. Inhale, stretching out. Exhale as you come down. Maintaining that good posture throughout. We've just turned our leg extensions into seated spinal balance flow. This is a pose that you might take as an option later on when I give a standing version of the same pose. You can always come right back to this version if you prefer. One long leg and the opposite arm extending out at the same time as we inhale, coming back to the ground as we exhale. One more time on each side. Now let's extend just one leg, doesn't matter which one, and you can circle here at the ankle trying to lubricate the joint. If circling is not comfortable, you can wave it side to side like windshield wipers. Now, if we are using a circle pattern, let's reverse it. and let's point and flex at the foot, not only lubricating that joint and stretching out the muscles around the ankle, but we can also feel that going into the lower leg as well. Everything's connected. Now let's switch to the other side. Lift that leg. Let's circle around. Or wave it side to side. Remember, everything that we do in our practice is meant to feel good in the body. It might feel challenging, like we're working hard, and that's okay, but we never want to have any discomfort. Let's reverse the circles. So if you're finding that something feels uncomfortable, please ease back. That is never our intention. Just listen to the body. Honor it as it whispers to you. Now let's point and flex. All right, let's bring both feet down to the ground, and we're going to slide forward a little bit on our chair so that we can take the legs out into a wide stance. Toes pointing out on the diagonal, knees headed in the same direction. Let's go ahead and inhale, both arms up overhead to a star. And on the exhale, we're going to lean over to one side, resting our left hand on the left thigh for a side angle pose. Then inhale, lift, lift, lift with your trunk. Exhale over to the other side. Inhaling as we rise. Exhaling with a nice side bend. And we think about that nice long line of alignment from our hips all the way up to the shoulders and up to the crown of the head. Side angle flow. And when we rest that arm on our leg, it's really just resting like a butterfly is resting on a flower. All of the strength action here is coming from our trunk, holding us over on the diagonal. One more time on each side. Now let's bring those arms to shoulder height. Keep the left palm turned up toward the sky, and let's turn the right palm down. Now looking out to our left palm that's pointing upward, let's inhale. And on the exhale, turn the arms over. Inhale, turn them again. Shoulders spirals. And we think about moving the entire arm in that spiral position rather than just turning at the wrists. This is some good preventative maintenance work for folks who have never had any shoulder issues. And it's also some good gentle work for the people that have, trying to get some good strength and flexibility there. Now that in mind, if it's not comfortable to have the arms at shoulder height, or if your arms are getting tired, just move them down to the diagonal, but continue to turn at the entire arm, at the shoulder, if that's comfortable for you. So don't be afraid to make changes to make things more comfortable for yourself. One more time on each side. Now let's relax those arms. Duck walk those feet back to hips distance apart. Scoot back a little bit on the chair, but not all the way back. Let's bring both arms down on the diagonal, palms facing forward. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals. And on the exhale, a hinge forward to airplane. Palms are still facing downward, but my jet wings are reaching out behind me. And on the inhale, we reach those arms in front of us. Exhaling into airplane, palms down. Inhale, lift, lift, lift with the trunk. Exhaling down. Now with all of these flowing movements, we might start to feel the body heating up in a good positive way. Remember, it's not a bad thing to get sweaty during yoga. Just be mindful that if you are getting sweaty and hot, are you still feeling good? If you start to feel nauseous or lightheaded or dizzy, then obviously we want to take a break, because that's never our intention. I like to keep a sip of water or two close by so that we can take drinks as needed. Couple more of these airplane hinges. Now let's take those arms out to the side, continue to inhale them overhead, and swan dive to a forward fold. On the inhale, let's lift the back to a 45-degree angle. On the exhale, back down to forward fold, inhaling as we rise up. Exhale, swan diving down. Inhaling into monkey. Exhale, back to forward fold. Inhaling and rising. Building some good heat here. A couple more of these seated sun salutations. Now let's bring those arms all the way back down. Now this next part, you're welcome to just continue to sit in your chair, just scoot forward and take a wide stance with the feet, or you can stand beside your chair in this vacant mat space, whichever you prefer. The movements will be the same. And please take a quick sip of water if you have something close beside you that you can take a drink. We want to stay hydrated during the practice as much as we can. So in our wide stance here, we're going to continue to use some big flowing movements to keep the body nice and warm so it's as flexible as possible when we get into our deeper poses. Now, if you're standing, bend at the knees a little bit and make sure that you can still see your toes under there. That means we have a good wide base and we're not going to put any extra strain on the knees. Let's inhale the arms up to a star pose. And on the exhale, bring those elbows in toward the ribs for moonflowers. Inhale as you reach toward the sky, exhaling down into moonflowers. Keeping the chest nice and open. And we imagine our frame moving up and down, just like a carousel horse on a carousel. We're not trying to bend forward or lean forward or back. We're just moving straight up and down, keeping good spinal alignment here. And you only need to bend the knees as much as is comfortable for you. Let's take a couple more moonflowers here. And then we'll make a little change. Inhaling, arms up. Bending at the knees here. Let's gather like you're picking up a big pumpkin. And on the inhale, rise up. Exhaling as we hinge forward with a flat back. Inhale to rise. Today we might think about gathering up our many blessings, bringing them into our hearts. One more of these sunflower hinges. Now let's inhale, arms up, palms touching, and on the exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Inhaling, arms overhead, exhaling, hands to the heart. And these hands together in prayer pose are another yoga mudra, Anjali mudra, symbolizing gratitude and respect. So when we bring those hands in at heart center in Anjali mudra, we might think about how grateful we are to have 2 beautiful full moons in the month of October. Even with all that is going on in the world right now for 2020, we're still going to be blessed with 2 full moons in October. So let's remember our blessings, because they're still out there for us if we just acknowledge them. One more of these prayer flows. Now let's bring those arms down, turning the palms at shoulder height. Bring them all the way down, and let's step the feet together so that they're hips distance apart. Let's inhale the left arm up straight for the sky, and on the exhale, a little side bend. Inhale, lift, 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 and on the exhale, bring that arm down. Let's inhale the right arm up, reach, and then a little bend as we exhale. Inhale, lifting, exhale, bring it down. Keeping those abdominals engaged to support the back as we're using a side bend here. Let's use one more side bend on each side. And then we'll gently bring that arm down, rolling our shoulders back, bringing the hands together at heart center in Anjali mudra. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals, lifting up to our tallest height. And on the exhale, starting below the navel, we begin to twist, twist, twist gently toward one side of our mat. We try to keep the hips as forward as is comfortable for us. So we're focusing all of that twist here in the trunk. Breathing rather than holding our breath. When you're ready, gently, gently, let's unwind that twist back to the center. Let's try it on the other side. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals, lift up tall, and on the exhale, twisting from the bottom to the top for the trunk. Gently, gently, let's unwind back to the center and relax those arms. So now we're moving into the standing version of spinal balance flow. Again, if you'd rather sit down and lift one long leg and the opposite arm at the same time, you're welcome to do so. If you're going to try the standing version, here's how it's going to go. Let's inhale both arms overhead. And as we swan dive with a little bend in the knees, let's bring our hands to rest on our seat cushion or seat bottom here. Now, on the inhale, let's reach forward with our right arm and our left leg extending long behind us. And on the exhale, come back to your chair. This time, take the left arm forward as the right leg reaches behind you, and then come back to your seat. So we inhale as we lengthen one leg and the opposite arm, and we exhale, coming back to our chair. Let's keep the abdominals engaged so that we're keeping our balance that way and also supporting the back at all times. Now, if it's not comfortable for you to have that one leg off the ground, remember you can always just take one arm at a time in front of you. And the same for the arms. If you'd rather not do the arm piece, we could just do the leg portion. Spinal balance flow. Whether we're seated or standing, let's keep our posture intact and let's keep those abdominals engaged. One more time on each side. Coming back to the seat cushion or back to your seated position. If you're standing, let's inhale the arms overhead and bring those arms all the way back down. Now we're going to do a little work behind the chair. And the chair can be used for as much stability help as we want today. So you can hold on to it the whole time or you can let go. It's always up to you. Standing behind our chair with our feet hips distance apart. So find your hip bones. Remember, your hip bones are here. They're not out here where we traditionally think about the hips. Hip bones are here, head south. That's where you want your feet to be. And when I stand behind my chair, I notice that my hips width apart is about the same width as my chair legs. So it's a good balanced, sturdy position. As we look forward, let's take a step back with our right foot, stepping as far back as is comfortable for you with your whole right foot on the ground. If you've stepped too far back and your foot is not all the way down on the ground, just move that right foot forward a little bit, keeping my left knee where it is, looking down. I can still see my toes, so that means I'm not bending too far in that front leg. Okay? Knee right over the ankle. Looking straight ahead into the distance, relaxing the shoulders. I can either stay here hanging onto my chair, or I can take one arm off, or both. And today I thought we would use what we're calling Moon Warrior, invented by some of my yoga students. So Moon Warrior just has moonflower arms with warrior legs. So here's what we'll do. We'll lift those arms up to shoulder height, and then we'll bring those elbows in toward the ribs. So we can stand still here in Moon Warrior 1. Or if you want to keep the movement going, we could add a flow. We could inhale the arms up, gently straightening the front leg, and then exhale, coming back into that moonflower upper body. Now all of us, whether we're standing still or flowing this pose, all of us are engaging our abdominals, and we're keeping a nice long spine from the hips to the shoulders and up through the crown of our head. We're not trying to lean forward or back with the trunk to the best of our ability. So let's take 3 more breaths in whatever version of Moon Warrior you're choosing. Now, let's put our left hand on the chair top, pick up your right foot, and step back into Warrior 2. So that's like I'm standing on a surfboard or a long balance beam. My left toes are still pointing toward my chair. My right foot is parallel to the back of the mat. I can look out over my left shoulder here, and I can still hold on to the chair. Or I could choose to lift that left arm away and reach up through both arms for Warrior 2. Looking out at the tip of our left middle finger, finding our focus there, and allowing all other thoughts to fade away. One more breath. Now let's gently straighten the front leg. We can bring this left hand down to the chair, or we can bring it down to our left leg. Let me show you how that'll work. Let's inhale, engage the abdominals, reach that left arm forward like you're looking over a mountain edge. We can put that left hand right on our chair, or rest it on your straight front leg as we lift the right arm skyward. And we want to be mindful to rotate the right shoulder back so that we're nice and open through the chest for triangle pose. And if my right arm gets tired, there's always an option of putting the hand on the hip and still keeping the chest nice and open. Trunk muscles engaged here. That's where the work is coming from. Two more breaths in triangle. Now on the inhale, lift, lift, lift with your trunk. Relax those arms and step all the way up to the back of the chair. Now let's hold on to the chair top. Walk ourselves back to downward dog, pressing back through the tailbones, feeling that luxurious lengthening of the spine. 2 feet flat on the ground, engaging the abdominals. Relaxing through the neck and the shoulders. Now, if you would like to keep our downward dog still or static, please feel free to do so. Remember, you can always bend your knees if that feels more comfortable for the backs of the legs. If you'd like to add a flowing movement here, we would inhale ourselves forward with the shoulders in line with the wrists for a plank pose, and then exhale back to downward dog. Notice when you come forward to plank, we are lifting our heels away from the ground, and then we press back with the tailbone to downward dog. So we have downward dog to plank flow, which is a nice way to bring a little heat into the practice, but always listen to the body. It'll tell you what it wants to do. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Use any option you prefer. And then we'll come back to downward dog. When you're ready, let's walk ourselves all the way up to the back of our chair. Now, I felt that my chair was sliding a little, so I'm going to adjust that to make sure all 4 legs are on the mat. That helps the chair from sliding as much, especially during that plank flow. Now, standing behind my chair, we've got to go do the warriors on the other side. So let's stand up nice and tall, feet hips distance apart. Let's take our left foot and step as far back as is comfortable for warrior 1. Make sure you can still see your right toes down there. Nice and tall from the hips to the shoulders to the crown of the head. Again, there's an option to hang on to the chair with both hands, or just one, or choosing to let go. It's whatever you're wanting for today. And if you want to use that moonflower, moon warrior, let's bring the elbows in close to the ribs, keeping the chest open. Remember, I can do that still with one hand on the chair and just do one arm at a time. If you want to flow the pose again, let's inhale the arms up to a star, gently straightening the front leg, and then come back to that bend in the knee. So if you're flowing the pose for a little bit and you think, hoo-wee, I'm getting hot and I don't want to be this hot in my practice, just choose to keep the pose still. That'll help cool things off. You can also exhale out through the mouth, and that'll let some of that hot air escape the body. Just remember, gang, nothing is required in our yoga practice, and we can make changes as needed. There's no cheating in that. It's just being smart. Smart about your yoga. One more breath here. And we'll come on back to that traditional Moon Warrior 1. Now let's put our right hand on the chair top, pick up your left foot, and step back into Warrior 2. Again, like we're standing on a balance beam or a surfboard. Looking out over the right middle finger, finding our focus there. Now, let's straighten gently through the front leg. Reach that right arm forward, looking off the edge of the mountain. Place that right arm on your chair top or on your straight front leg, and lift that left arm skyward for triangle. Now when you're ready, lift, lift, lift. Come back to Warrior 2. Relax the arms, stepping all the way up to the back of the chair. Now let's take our right foot just a short step back for a staggered stance. Let's look straight ahead. We can hold on to the chair or let go. And let's start to rock back and forth on the feet. Finding a little balance work here. And again, maybe I'll let go with one hand. Maybe I'll let go with both. Finding that nice rocking back and forth. One of the good keys to finding balance here when we're rocking back and forth is to engage your abdominals. That'll help. And look straight ahead rather than down. Now, let's plant both feet exactly where they are in this staggered stance. Let's inhale, straightening both legs, engaging our abdominals. And on the exhale, we hinge forward gently from the hips with a nice flat back. This is our pyramid pose, and we get this long-legged stretch behind our left leg. And the further that we go down into the hinge, the more sensation and lengthening we'll get behind that left leg. So if it's too much, just lift up a little. If it's not enough, try to hinge forward a little more. Now on the next inhale, let's lift, lift, lift all the way upright and take that right foot forward. Let's bring the left foot a short step back. Again, let's start to rock. Back and forth on the feet. Do what you like with the hands. Now let's plant both feet in that staggered stance. Let's inhale, engaging our abdominals. On the exhale, hinging forward from the hips, finding that nice long-legged pyramid stretch behind our right leg. Now on the inhale, let's lift the body upright and step the right foot forward. The left foot. Now we're going to do a moon salutation. So we're going to use this chair, but we're going to move it around a little bit. So take your chair and let's place it right in front of us at the center of our mat. So the front two legs should be on your mat. The back two legs can be off so that we've got plenty of room on the mat in front of us. We're going to take a wide stance with our feet here facing our chair, getting ready for a moon salutation, which is just a wonderful calming flow in our practice. Ideally, we would use our moon salutations at night, but I know that we're not always able to do our yoga practice in the evening, depending on our own schedule. So I want you to know the moon salutation so you can use it whenever you like. Now, in our moon salutation, at one point, we're going to find ourselves hinged forward with our hands on the seat and a nice flat back. So you have two choices here. You can either look down at your chair seat and just lift up one mighty eagle wing of an arm to the side and then exhale it down and then go to the other side. Or you can add a twist here. By inhaling with that twist from the trunk, the arm will naturally come up with it, and then back, and then a twist over to the other side. So it's yogi's choice which one of those options you'll want to use. Now, when we're lifting those arms up, everybody wants to think about big eagle wings coming up. So instead of just flinging our arms around here, that's not how eagles work. We want to take one long arm and reach it up with power. Think about spreading out all your feathers through your fingers. Just reach them all out, okay? And come back down. And that's going to make a heck of a difference in the muscles that we're using in our arms. So just something to think about. So as we're facing our chair with a good wide stance, bend through the knees. Make sure you can see your toes down there. Let's inhale the arms up to a star. And on the exhale, a little bend over to one side. Inhale, lift, lift, lift to a star. Exhale with a side bend to the other side. Inhaling and lifting. On the exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Plant the hands on the chair. On the inhale, we can take just the arm or add a twist. Exhaling back down, other side. Inhaling and exhaling back to the seat. Now let's put a little bend in the knee if it's comfortable to do so and lunge to one side. Then exhale, lunge to the other side. Inhale, rising up to a star. Let's do it again. Exhaling to side bend. Inhale, lift, lift, lift. Exhale to the other side. Inhaling and lifting. Now exhale, hinging forward. Inhale with an eagle arm or a twist. Exhaling back. Everybody strong through the abdominals. Inhaling up. Exhaling back to the seat. Now let's inhale over to one knee lunge. Exhale over to the other side. Inhaling all the way up to a star. And then exhale. Let's follow the breath this time. And then we'll bring those arms all the way back down. Let's step those feet to hips distance apart. Turn your chair back to where we started at the beginning of class. Here you can either stand for this forward fold or you can be seated. It's up to you. Let's inhale the arms up. If you're standing, put a little bend in the knees as we swan dive down. If you're standing, let's try to straighten those legs as much as is comfortable for you today. Remember, if you're someone who is working through glaucoma, vertigo, or uncontrolled high blood pressure, then for those folks, we want to keep a nice parallel chest to the ground. We would not want to put our head below the heart for those folks. So just take a monkey pose here. That would be a nice option. Let's take a few more deep breaths here in our forward fold. And when you're ready, put a little bend in the knees. If you're standing, everybody engage the abdominals, lift, lift, lift with overhead arms, and bring those arms all the way down. Have a seat on your chair. If you have a drink close by, take a sip, trying to stay hydrated. All right. So let's go ahead and lace our fingers, just resting them on our lap here for a moment. Let's inhale the arms to shoulder height, turning the palms of our hands outward. Now you can keep the arms right here, or we can take them up higher for upholding heaven posture. Relax through the neck and the shoulders. Feel that nice stretch for the wrists. If it's more of a stretch than you're looking for and things are uncomfortable, just keep both hands up high in the air. Both of these options still give us good lengthening through the spine, which is a nice way to hydrate the spine. A few more breaths. Now gently, gently lower those arms, turn the palms over, stir up the air beside you, just to loosen up through the wrists here. And then reverse your circles. Now, this next pose is a half wide leg straddle flow. Now, if you have a strap with you, we can certainly use that, or any bathrobe tie or an old necktie, a piece of soft rope, whichever you have. We can put that across the middle of one foot and then lift that leg up and straighten it as much as is comfortable, maintaining our very best posture. And then what we would do is inhale that leg out to the side as far as is comfortable, and then exhale and bring it back into the center. It's a nice hip opening flow. Now, if you don't have a strap, an old necktie, a soft rope, anything that you can use here, even a long bath towel would work. You could certainly just take the leg out in front of you and move it over to the side. Or sometimes you'll see people hook on to their big toe with their peace fingers and then take it back and forth out to the side. And if you're using your peace fingers and it's hard to straighten out your leg, don't worry, just keep your best posture. Straighten it as much as is comfortable for you today, and then that's it. That's all we need to do. So on the other leg, I'll show you what I mean by that. All right, let's bring that leg in. If I'm using a strap, I can move it to my other foot, but I'm going to show you the big toe bind or peace finger bind. So I'm taking my peace fingers, hooking on to the big toe, straightening it as much as it'll straighten. And I know from your angle it may not be easy to see, but I'm not able to straighten it all the way. And that's okay. I'm going to sit up tall. On the inhale, take that leg over to the side. On the exhale, bring it in. So what the straps or the bathrobe ties and the bath towels do for us is they give us a little more length in the arms so that we are able to straighten out the leg a little more. But they're not required. How about we go 3 more times out to the side? Coming back to the center, let's relax that big toe bind, bring both feet down to the ground, and roll the shoulders back. Now let's take both arms behind us for chest expansion. We're going to stay still this time, so imagine you're holding on to that beach ball very firmly, keeping the abdominals engaged. There's a little arch in the back. If you're able to reach your chair frame, I like to hold on to my chair as a nice deep option. Breathing rather than holding our breath. Now let's wrap our arms around a tree trunk for a nice tree hug, pulling the abdominals in toward us to support the back as it's rounding. Now let's open up from that tree hug. Let's take our right hand and place it on the left knee. Let's inhale tall, engaging our abdominals. And on the exhale, gently, gently, twisting over to the left side of our chair. You might rest your left hand at the hip or hold on to the chair frame. Or if you want to get a little deeper, you might hold on to the back of the seat. The back of the seat cushion, we'll say, or the seat platform. Sitting up tall, keeping abdominals engaged, and breathing as deeply as is comfortable. Now gently, gently unwinding back to the center. Let's take our left hand and rest it on the right knee. Inhale, sit up tall, so elongation before rotation. And then exhale, gently, gently twisting. Decide what you want to do with that right hand, how deep you want to get into this twist. Now when you're ready, gently, gently unwinding back to the center. Now this last part of our class is Shavasana or corpse pose. In a seated position, it just involves sitting all the way back in your chair and just relaxing. We're not concerned so much about the posture here as we are letting your chair support you while you rest. Some folks like to lay down flat on the ground with legs long and hands out to the side in that traditional corpse posture, or you can lay down with your knees bent if that feels more comfortable for your back. Whichever method you'd like to use, I want you to find a comfortable position for Shavasana, whether seated or lying down. And I'm going to read for us a moonlight meditation. And I know that it's not time for the moonlight, but we are talking about the moon for the month of October. And so I thought that this meditation from Shiva Ray from Yoga Journal in 2017 might be a nice way to ease into Shavasana and to bring us some peace and calm. So if you're comfortable doing so, let's go ahead and close our eyes, using each inhale to breathe peace and calm into the body and the mind. and allowing each exhale to carry away stray thoughts. Remembering that all that Shavasana is asking from us is for us to be still and peaceful and calm, and simply observe how we're feeling in the body. Simply observe any thoughts that come into the mind without judgment. And we just breathe in a relaxed, calm way. Slowly become aware of the space between our eyebrows. Within this space, visualize a full moon in a clear night sky, shining brightly on the waves of the ocean. The full reflection of the moon penetrates the deep waters, and the cool shade of moonlight catches the tops of the waves as they dance. See the image clearly and develop an awareness of the feelings and sensations that are created in the mind and the body. As we visualize this full moon in the sky above us, we think about the abundance of the full moon and recognize all of the abundance in our own lives. And we find our hearts shining with gratitude when we remember that abundance. Remember all of the many things that we are to be grateful for. And the full moon reminds us of that abundance and reminds us, even when it fades away, that that abundance will return once again. And it always keeps coming back to us as a reminder. And as we lie here with hearts full let's slowly begin to bring awareness back to the body. Gently, gently starting to bring movement into our fingers and our toes. Breathing in deep breaths of nourishing oxygen, filling all parts of the physical body and the mind, and allowing the exhale to carry away anything that no longer serves us. And we breathe in the peace, the balance, and the focus that we've shared here today. And we exhale all of the love that we have for each other, for the world around us, and even for ourselves. Now, for those who are lying down for Shavasana, let's take a moment to bend our knees, hugging them in a little closer to the chest, perhaps choosing to rock the knees side to side. Just massaging the back in a gesture of self-care. And then we'll gently roll the entire body over to one side. Breathing in deeply all of the goodness of our practice. And exhaling all of our good intentions for the week ahead. And when we're ready, for those who are lying down, let's return to an upright seated posture with our eyes still closed. I invite each one of us to bring the palms together at heart center in Anjali Mudra, that symbol of gratitude and respect. Let's begin to rub those hands vigorously, warming them. And let's bring our warm hands to gently cover our closed eyes. That wonderful heat that we find radiating there is inviting our eyes to slowly open, and we bring the hands to rest upon our laps. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you'll come back for our other subsequent lessons with our moon theme this month. Clear minds, kind words, compassionate hearts. Namaste.